You got a mighty good everlasting friend in Jesus. Sure do, sure do, you sure do, you sure do, you sure do. I wonder, do you know you do, you sure do. You got a mighty, 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 mighty good friend in Jesus. Oh, yes you do. You got a mighty, mighty good friend in Jesus. Yeah.
For your name's sake, Lord, preserve my life in your righteousness. Bring me out of trouble. In your unfailing love, silence my enemies. Destroy all of my foes. For I am your servant. No matter what we go through, no matter what we deal with, God does hear us. You may think, you may feel, you may believe that he doesn't hear you, but he does. Too many times, just in the past couple of months of my life, when I felt as though that God didn't hear me, he heard me. Too many times in the midnight hour of my life, I felt that God had passed over me, but he didn't. Too many incidents that I've witnessed that I didn't believe that God did not hear me, and I knew that he did. I sit back each and every day, and I try to bring forth a message in my music. Too many times I allow myself to get upset when I feel that people are not listening to me, when I feel that people do not take my craft serious. But something that my mother told me a few days ago that made me smile. My mother made mention to something that I said on one of my shows, and I knew that my mother was listening. There have been times when I have been in conversations with people that they have made a comment about something that I've said or something that I wrote, that I smiled and I knew that someone was listening. But when I wake up every morning, when I open my eyes every day, when I put my feet on the floor of my home, I know God is listening. When I look at the things that I've gone through in my life, when I look back to when I was 15 years old and when people used to call me Julio, when I used to walk the pavements of life, I now look back on that and I say that God was listening. When I look at the success of my children and I see the things that they are progressing with, I know God is listening. I remember Mother's Day of 2016. As walking into my mother's house, I feared that this would probably be the last time that I would see my mother. But then I look at today's date, September 8th, 2018, and you know what? God is listening. I am thankful to the people who dislike me. I am thankful for the people who have issues with me. Why? Because I know God is listening. Because if there was something about me that was not important, if there was something about me that was insignificant, something that was not worth God hearing me, then I wouldn't have the people against me, because nothing coming out of my mouth or nothing coming from the actions of my step would be important enough for anyone to pay attention. So when you get to that point that you feel as though that God is not listening, when you've reached that moment in the pinnacle in your life that you feel as though your life is insignificant, look at all of the things around you, and you have to tell yourself that God is listening. I want to say thank you to my mother. Thank you to my daughter. Thank you to my sons. Thank you for my youngest daughter, Asia. Thank you to Flo. Thank you to Christine. Thank you to Cherry West, her daughter Glenette and her husband. Thank you to Bonnie Mae's youth. Thank you to her sons and her daughters. Thank you to the people in Menneson, Pennsylvania. The people in Donora, Pennsylvania. the people in Charleroi, Pennsylvania. Thank you to my sisters Brittany and Danielle, to my cousins Alex, Marlon, and Nikki, to my family there in Louisville and Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you. Thank you to Lexi and Mike Lewis. Thank you to Chris Lemon. Thank you to Larry Funkster Jones. Thank you to all of the people that give me daily doses of inspiration. Thank you to the people in Drive for Five. Thank you to the people in WLOV. Thank you all. Because when I wake up and I see one, some, or all of the people that I've mentioned, then I know God has heard me. Because I've learned a short time ago, which was a lesson taught to me a long time ago, that in order for the miracle to transpire, in order for the miracle to take place, you have to pray for someone else. You have to ask forgiveness in someone else. You have to ask that God will see to it that those people that you are praying for will find the inner salvation that God the Father wants all of us to have. And when I am able to see these people, when I am able to witness life in progress, then I know that God has heard me. And until we meet again, I love you all so very, very much. Please continue to keep me in your prayer circles as I will keep you in mind. And until we meet again, you all have a great, progressive, positive, and a blessed Saturday afternoon.
La 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 la.
Mary, Mary.
La 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 la. Thank you.
When I look back over my life
Thank you.
and all the times you brought me through,
Thank you.
I just want to say, Father, thank you.
When I was lonely and needed someone to hold me, you were beside me. When my nights got cold and lonely, oh, you never let me down when no one else could be found. I always count on you to see me through. I'm telling you that you are the reason I'm alive and I'm still breathing. For me, you gave your life, and now my life, it has new meaning. When I think about your grace and I finally see your face, there's one thing I need to say, wanna say, yeah. Thank you, Lord, for loving me. Thank you, Lord, for keeping me. Thank you for that day you came and broke the chains and set me free. Thank you for another chance, gave me joy, now I can dance.
All my people, open up your mouth and let me hear you say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lord, for one more day. You made the raindrops go away. Thank you, 'cause my pain is gone. I know it came to make me strong. Thank you for another chance. Gave me joy, now I can dance.
All my people, open up your mouth and let me hear you say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is he worthy?
When I was lonely and I needed someone to hold me, you were beside me. When my nights got cold and lonely, whoa, you never let me down when
No one else.
could be found. I always count on you to see me through. I'm telling you, you're the reason, Jesus, I'm alive and breathing.
Hallelujah.
Me, you gave your life, and now my life, it has new meaning.
Listen.
Because of your grace, I can see your face. And when I do, there's just one thing I want
Sing
to
it with me.
say. Thank you, Lord, for loving me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lord, for keeping me.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you for that day you came and broke the chains and set me free. Thank you for another chance, gave me joy, now I can dance.
All my people, open up your mouth and let me hear you say thank you.
Thank